All righty. Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? My name is Demetrius Jackson, founder and CEO of the Connections Ministries. And I told you about 2 weeks ago that I was going to start this thing called Mindfulness Wednesdays. That bring people from the outside in that works in fields of education, entrepreneurship, financial leadership, financial education, anything that can better you as a human being, because that's the whole purpose of the Connection Ministry. It is to lead you to the word of God, but also lead you towards your purpose. And God wants us to be successful in every area of our life. So here, I have Malik Mayweather, my former teammate, man, a brother of mine. I have his bio, but I'm not going to read his bio because I think that'll do um an injustice to him. Because I love for people to share their own story. Because it doesn't do good just reading off a piece of paper. I would love for Malik to share his own story, but a little brief description about him that I can tell you: he's a good brother. Man, we just had a good conversation offline. I'm not going to tell you what we talked about, but this is a good brother. Um, he's a real estate agent. And some of his videos, he don't even know. Like I told him 2 weeks ago when I reached out to him, I said, Malik, man, you just don't know your videos. What you've been posting daily, your content has really been helping me, especially this big transition that I've made this past year with moving, coming to a whole new state, whole new city, trying to better myself financially and spiritually. Um, you know, man, you just helped better me. So Malik, brother, man, you have the floor.
No, I appreciate that. Appreciate that, DJ. Yes, I'm Malik, and yeah, my story is extensive, but I'm not going to. I guess I'm not going to bore you with too many details. But what I will say is that as far as just who I am, I'm a guy, a blessed guy. This whole journey and everything that you see on social media is who I am. Like I have these thoughts and I display them and put them out to help people and genuinely want to provide some value, right? And then figuring out different creative ways to do it. So, based in Florida, me and DJ played for the University of Miami football back. I was there 2013 through 17. DJ is the class right after us. So, yeah, just man, a long way from from 2013, 2014 University of Miami football, and to think 10 years later we're doing this. I couldn't imagine it. And since then, I've stepped into, healthcare, gotten out of healthcare, gone into real estate, started with social media management and morphed that business into production. So it's a lot of various avenues that I've been in from an entrepreneur standpoint that has given me a lot of experience in a very short amount of time. On top of that, going through it during COVID, so figuring out how to adapt and all of the things that you thought you knew about how to do this or do that have changed. So all of that is just a story and a testament to perseverance and all the things that I've gone through. But I think the deeper thing is just my faith. Going through things that most people don't know about. Being homeless with my father for a couple of weeks, going into the ninth grade. And then having sicknesses in the family throughout the years and dealing with them now. And how am I managing all of those different things, right? So the faith is the core. The faith in the village and the support system is the core. So you see me, you see these things that are happening, but I'm not alone. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't see anybody around me in the moment that you see a video on social media or anything like that, I'm not alone. And I just want to talk a little bit more today about entrepreneurship and all of the things that go into my journey, answer any questions that people may have in the comment section, and also talk through how easy it would be for you to start your entrepreneurship journey and how it's not necessarily as costly as you would think it is for you to get started in a legitimate way, because I think that's what stops people. It feels very, very daunting to step back and say, all right, I'm gonna start a business. Well, then I got to do this, do that, do this, do that. It's like it's not as much as you think, but you do have to run down a checklist. So that's me in a nutshell. Like I said, it's a whole bunch more we could get into, but I can get off topic. So I want to try to stay confined this evening if possible.
Hey Malik, brother, quick question, man. You
Mhm.
said something I think it was like 2 weeks ago when I first asked you about, man, jumping on, being the first guest talking. and you said sometimes it can be discouraging when a lot of people don't check in with the content, check into the things that you're doing. And I remember I had a similar situation, and I want you to dive into that, man, because I feel like, especially with us, when it comes to stuff that we need, stuff that we can benefit from, we don't take it serious. But if someone is out here giving out some free sneakers, giving out, some free video games, doing a toy drive, doing a turkey drive, they check in more and they're there present more versus when we're doing things like this, or you've been doing this longer, or but what you do on a daily basis, man. Talk more about that if you don't if you don't mind.
Yeah, so to answer the first point about discouraging, and then we'll talk about people checking in, because the checking in thing is a mindset thing, and being discouraged is quote unquote a mindset thing as well. But from a discouragement standpoint, it's tough to pour yourself into some content or some effort at a job or at a task that's going to help somebody or even help yourself, and then it not go well. And I think a lot of that comes from people not necessarily being in love with the process, but being in love with the result. And the process is the part that you gotta love, right? Everybody loves eating the food for Sunday dinner, or going, to the movie and watching the movie, if they don't have to put in the effort to do it. So it's discouraging when you do put in the effort and it doesn't happen. But what we don't see is those little incremental um, micro progressions that happen every time you do what you do, because the success that you want is a cumulative thing. It's not something that happens overnight, and that can be discouraging because you're looking in the mirror every day. But then when you reach out and you tell me, hey man, your content really helped me. I've been doing content since 2018, like in this kind of format where it was like just a Facebook podcast at first, where nobody really tuned in, right? And I was doing it more for like therapy for myself, because I had gotten so low. And I talk about this in the TED talk. I had gotten so low to the point where, you have these different ideations about suicide, and not necessarily like suicide taking myself out personally. Like I didn't want to take myself out, I didn't want to harm myself, but I just thought about what it would be like to not be here. It's like I wouldn't have to deal with all these problems. So that's how far discouragement can go. And that's a bad place to be. But if you keep rocking, you keep going through it, you keep putting one foot in front of the other, it does get to another point where you look back and say, man, I'm so far away from what that was. And
Hmm.
that's kind of where we are now. It's like I'm so far away from just, USB mics and a laptop, talking through the phone, hoping that I help at least one person. And to go back to, okay, well, what keeps the person going and what's the mindset like, so that they keep doing this over here that's right, versus showing up for these other things that don't really bring anything to the table. It's very simple to me. It's consumer mentality versus producer or creator mentality. All of us have creation rooted in us, right? God made all of us to be able to create. He made fruits and vegetables. You put the seeds in the ground, you're able to create. So all of us have creation within us, but all of us aren't creators like we should be in our own right. And when I say creators, it's not just content. We create other human beings when we procreate. We create food and recipes and traditions for families and stuff for family reunions when we put our heads together, and we brainstorm what everybody might like for that day or that event. We create this opportunity for people to tune in when you call me and say, hey man, I really would love to have you on, and I say yes. We created this space. So we all have creation within us. It's just that we're not using it, and we have a consumer mentality. And if, just like anything else out there, from a food standpoint, if we want to use that as like the example, if you overconsume, you get unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? Too much of anything is bad. So we have a lot of consumers mentally and physically, and not enough producers. And that's because a lot of people don't know how to produce. And that's what entrepreneurship is about to me. It's about producing the lifestyle, the business, the value that you want to give to other people. And then when you do that, you are able to sustain your life, build relationships and wealth on top of the foundation of being a producer or a creator.
Man, you just said something, man. Well, you just said something with the consumer. You said the consumer mentality, I believe,
Yeah.
versus the creative mentality, right? And
Hmm.
man, you just said something like really, because that is true. Like I said, God has given us those things. Like I have people. I remember I had a pastor. He said, God has given us this tree. We can make whatever we want out that tree. Any type of furniture we want out that tree, we can make it. But is our mind going to let us, or going to take us, our will, our dedication, our commitment, even if we chip in the wind, we don't see it yet, is it going to let us finish and get to the end result? And man, you just really said something, man, that got me thinking what I'm gonna talk about Sunday. um but no, man, that's very big, man. So let me ask you a question then. So what would you tell an up and coming entrepreneur? Because teaching, right, as teaching, I have a lot of kids say, Mr. Jackson, I don't want to go to college.
Hmm.
I want to become an entrepreneur. I want to run my own business. Well, I said that's not easy. I'm not discouraging you, but it's not easy, right? What do you tell those young people, and even people right now who's probably on their third, fourth, fifth business venture? Um, what is the first couple of steps, or the first step that you would give them towards doing it the right way? Because if you're on your third, fourth one, maybe you're not learning something, and if you're coming out of high school, um it's more to just saying I want to start a business. I know you need a business plan. You need to have a 5-10 year plan to see, how do you want to scale your business. And I know if things I'm missing, but what do you tell someone like that?
So the first thing I would do if someone says they want to be an entrepreneur and they're young, because there's a different mentality between somebody that's 18 and somebody that's 30. You can't tell them the same things because they're not going to work. They're at different stages in life. 18-year-old just getting out of school, or either even the college student that's just getting out and says, you know what, I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't want to do this other thing. The first thing I would tell them to do is learn sales. At the end of the day, entrepreneurship is selling and marketing. So you need to learn sales first, because if you understand how to sell and have sales conversations, then you can create the opportunity for value to be exchanged. And if you can do that enough times, over and over and over, you'll start to make some money and you'll learn some things about people, because sales is a
Mm,
lot less about the transaction and the value you're giving, and it's more about the psychology of the person that's in front of you and understanding what their needs are and how to solve problems. People only buy when the value that you're giving outweighs the price that you're charging. So, learning sales is the first step to understanding where business opportunities even are. Because everybody says they want to follow their passion, they want to be an entrepreneur, they want to start their own business, but everybody's not really evaluating what the opportunity is in the markets that they say they want to go in. You can say you want to go be, a fitness guy down here, because that was, let's just use that as an example because it was my first business. Um, but down here in Florida, it's very, very tough to be a fitness professional if you don't have the resources, the studio, the relationships, to this, that, and the third. Not that it's impossible, but it's saturated. So you have to understand, what markets you're going into, and you learn that really quick when you go into sales, because if you're not up to par, you're not offering something that people want, or as good or better as than the next guy that's in your industry where you are, then you're not going to make any money, and it will tell you really quick. Now, for the 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old, whoever's older that wants to jump into entrepreneurship, what I would tell them is kind of what I told myself. And not that I started late, but it wasn't 18 and it wasn't 23. It was like 24, 25, and kind of that in between. Like, I should probably have a job, or I should have tried to start this earlier. Like that in between and on. What I would tell you is look at your skill sets. What I did was, and I promote this in my ebook, and that's in the course. So we'll get to that a little bit later. The course, the free course, and the free community that people can have access to, right? Because you talked about free stuff. So you got some free stuff if you want to join that we'll get into. But in that, I talk about basically finding clarity based on your skill set. Who can you help? I chose entrepreneurs, but originally I thought I was going to choose athletes. And what I did was I broke down what skills I had between coaching, production, um, branding, and all of those different things. And those things are the things that I realized I could provide value from, because it's a lot harder as you get older to just like start from scratch and get favor from people that actually just want to help you. Everybody's like, yeah, you should figure it out. You're old. So that's what I would tell them. Look at your skill set and figure out who you can help with it, and then understand what business opportunities come from that. And then start with your circle, right? And this goes for both, right? So we went from what I would tell somebody from as an 18-year-old, and then we've gone to what I would tell somebody that's older that just wants to, figure out how to get into entrepreneurship. Now, for both of them, your first customers are right here in your phone. There's a shortcut on the iPhone where you can mass message everybody in your contact list and say, hey, I just started this business. Here's my link if you need such and such, such and such. And then you press send and it will send it to everybody. Right. So your warm outreach method can be your first couple clients. And then, people that just want to support you might support you. People that, you haven't talked to in a while might look at you crazy. But at the end of the day, if you don't ask anybody, you get nothing. So instead of being scared of posting content or of trying to figure out how to market off the top, you just market to people you already know. It's a lot easier to have those conversations, with people that you have a rapport with. And that's what I would tell, both sides of the coin. You know, I think that's how I started in fitness. I reached out to a lot of people and I wasn't even trying to sell them at first. I was just like, hey, do you know anybody that needs a trainer? And then some of them said me, and some of them was like, oh yeah, I know this person. So the people that said me, I helped them. And the people that said I know this person, I had somebody to follow up with. And that just came from my phone book. That wasn't Instagram. It wasn't Facebook. It wasn't paying for ads. It wasn't spending money and setting up a table at a pop-up shop. It was literally my phone and asking people, do you know anybody that needs this? Because I'm good at this and I can do it. I know I'm not where I'm going to be with it yet, but as far as understanding it and providing some type of value right now, I can do that.
No, man, yeah, that says a lot. I'm actually writing stuff down, as you speak, because you touched on a lot of things. Um, Let me, especially that most thing, your first customer is on your phone. And it's a lot, man, that you can do with this phone. It's a lot that I have mine right here, on my little stand. Let me ask you a question. And you, like I said, you touched on a lot of good things. Mentors,
Mm.
mentors. What do you say to those people that says, I know everything, I'm too old for a mentor, or probably asking that question, am I too old for a mentor, or is it a such thing? Am I too old for a mentor?
I think we have to, and don't get me wrong, experience is the greatest teacher for sure. But my experience as a 29-year-old going on 30 is far more than some people that are 40 and 50 in terms of things that I've been through and issues that I've had to work through and solve, and my mentality on how to solve them, and how I could talk somebody through solving them, how I break them down. So that experience is valuable, and that experience can be transferred to somebody else's brain through a conversation and regular contact. So a mentor isn't an age thing. It isn't someone that says, hey, you're older than me, you know this, you know that. It's like, no, it's someone who has that experience that can guide you and help you, make mistakes. I think you posted it. Wisdom you said discernment is, no, you said wisdom or discernment. I don't know which one, but it was
Yeah,
like not
discernment.
having to make the mistake to
Discernment.
learn the lesson. Discernment,
Mm-hmm.
right? So not having to make the mistake to learn the lesson is something that you can learn from anybody. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that, people saying, oh, I'm too old for a mentor, I don't need a coach or this, that, and the third. I think it's a limiting mindset. I think it thwarts your growth, because I'm always looking for a way, especially nowadays where collaboration is so big and so important because of how fast the world moves. I'm always looking for other individuals that I respect. I respect their way of life, their principles, their understanding of things. I'm always looking to find those individuals that could potentially be mentors. Like I'm a mentor junkie. Um, and a lot of it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a mentor that you talk to all the time. Eric Chris, is one of the guys that started Bain Capital with Mitt Romney. He was my mergers and acquisitions teacher in grad school, and it's the single most important class I've ever taken. And he's my unofficial mentor, right? He don't even know it, but like I call him every now and then when I'm thinking about where I'm at, and he'll give me a kick in the ass because he'll say, you're not focused or this, that, and the third, or he'll say, oh, that sounds good, you know what I'm saying, and give me encouragement and things to think about. But I called him when I was um, thinking about leaving healthcare when my father got diagnosed with cancer. And this is all within the last couple of years. So it's not like it's long ago. I called him when I was thinking about, how I would do the production business. And I was like, well, we're just gonna do social media marketing. The margins are higher. I can charge this much a month and make this, keep this much in profit and only spend this much on operations. And again, I'm learning all this corporate healthcare stuff. So I'm learning how $100 million facility runs, and I'm seeing that, and I'm seeing parallels to how it could work for me if I just did this other thing, and I could spend time with my family and be around more, especially with what's going on. And he knew about the fitness business too, because we talked about that while I was in class and potentially, getting a gym. And when I told him, he was like, you don't really have a social media business, because the only people I was helping were people I knew. He said, what sounds like a business is the fitness stuff. You don't sound like you have a marketing business. It's not that I don't think you could do it, because he said that. He's like, I don't think that you're not able to do it. It's just that it doesn't sound like you. And don't get wrapped up in all this social media management and marketing and all that, because it's a lot of fluff out there, which I respect it. And I agree and I disagree with that. And I'm fine with telling him that. But he said that, and my antennas go up because underdog mentality, like, all right, now, you doubting me. And he wasn't doubting me. He was just telling me what he saw. And I respect that. But mentally at that point in time, I'm had all these drawn out thoughts, and I'm calling him excited, thinking I'm gonna get reinforced. And that's not what happened. So you got to be able to take criticism from mentors too. That's just a off point. But to keep it going and pushing the story forward, he said that, and then from that day forward, because I knew it could work and because I knew I could make it work, and my love for cameras and production and understanding being where I am in Florida, that fitness was going to be a harder road, I said, I'm going to figure out a way to get into this social media management or this production space. I'm going to save up enough money to, go buy Sony cameras instead of Canon, because they work better for some of the stuff I wanted to do. And all of that happened. And now we're here because I invested the time I needed to become what I would consider an expert in the field of production and content creation and brand building. And granted, again, an expert is just really somebody who has more knowledge than you about the thing and understands how to actively put processes and systems in place so that you can achieve a goal with those things. So it's not I know everything. It's I know more than you, and I know enough to actually reach a goal with this thing. So I felt like I had become that because I put in the time, I got around people, I invested money. I've invested almost 10 grand. I was just say 10 grand after you talk about some of the other stuff. I've invested 10 grand in a coach. You know what I'm saying? And we about to have another 10 grand month. So did I get the return? You tell me. So mentors work, coaches work, all of those things work, but you have to be open to it. And you have to also look at actions, because I posted something else that said, the difference between the truth and the lies is an action. If I say I'm gonna do something and I don't, I lied. If I say I do something and I did, I'm telling the truth. So the difference is action. And that's why I lead with action, and I lead with, oh, DJ wants to do this. Cool, I'm showing up. Because I gotta be who I say I am. And if I can't, then I would say that. But it's really about having someone that keeps you accountable, and then you developing that within yourself to hold yourself accountable. And a mentor can do that. And that's why I say it's experience based.
And listen, I just wrote some. Listen, you said a lot of good stuff, man. A lot of great stuff, actually. Yesterday I actually did a message, man. I was talking about um strengthening your relationship with God, right? That was
Mm-hmm.
our Bible study for yesterday, and it was 6 steps, right? And when one of the steps, not one of the steps, but at the end, I said, that these are my notes. I said that you have to invest any relationship you have to invest in, and you have to have patience. And when you was talking about the Sony camera versus the Canon camera, I like how you said, save up, took some time investing, um, because a lot of people don't do that no more. A lot of people think, and they let social media fool them. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people think. And I was guilty of that as well. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was guilty, even though we come from a background of going through the struggle, playing football, knowing how the process is. Sometimes human nature, you can get away from that. And now, some people just think, oh, I'm gonna just put this product out here. I'm gonna just do this because of who I am, and it's gonna sell. It doesn't. I know it doesn't work like that all the time. And things fall flat sometimes. Um, Man, but are you surprised where you're at now? I know you said personal fitness,
Mm-hmm.
healthcare. I'm not going in any order. Personal fitness, healthcare, real estate, um, content creation. I mean, are you surprised? And then football as well, in the beginning, but I know I'm not going in order. Are you surprised, the trajectory of your life and the things you've been going through in the sense of from this career, from this career, from that career? you know, um, Being a young man, and I know we're still finding our way. So there's nothing wrong with going until you find your niche. Are you just surprised with how life and where life has taken you so far?
Yes, from a what I thought it would be standpoint, no, from a like I just don't. I'm too in tune with God, if that makes sense. I'm too in tune with Him to be super surprised. The only time I've ever been like not sure about most things that I've done has been when I've gotten distracted and haven't been tapped in with Him like I should, right? Like not going to Bible study or not praying or not, not working out, not working on myself, taking care of the temple that He gave me. Those have been the times where I've been a little cloudy. But for the most part, I would say that yeah, I'm surprised at how I thought it would go because again, obviously, I thought I would make it to the league. Going into that last year, you know how I was balling, like spraining that ACL and getting that bone bruise. That was why I didn't start. Like, if we being honest, so having something like that happen, um, again after being tapped in with him, it makes me understand like he just had different plans because again, like it was that's where it was going. It was league shot, CFL at the worst headed because I knew every position. So when something like that happens, it makes you reevaluate. Like, all right, man, I done did everything, God. Like, what am I supposed to, be doing? And I've had circumstances where in healthcare, I wonder why I was there because I kind of felt out of place in some ways. I felt like because it was new, right? Like I feel like I would have been fine had I stayed and learned more. Um, but it was new, and I felt like, all right, why am I here? And then these things are happening where people are getting sick. And then when I leave healthcare and I get my real estate license, and I'm working with my real estate mentor because he has a tax office, and I'm there, and I'm like, dang, I've been putting in work trying to make this production and this fitness stuff work. Why am I having to do this part-time job at the tax office right now? And it's stressful, and I feel like I ain't coming up with enough of whatever money, time, freedom, etc. to do what I want to do. And every time, from the healthcare thing to the tax office to buying the cameras and feeling lost and realizing that hey, I ain't gonna be able to do fitness and production and real estate, and fitness is the odd man out because you ain't gonna make enough. Like every time somebody either showed up that I didn't know I was gonna meet that has helped push the story along, or something I've learned has helped me avoid a disaster in business. So again, surprised based on what I thought, but when the things happen, I'm not surprised that I'm like gaining traction and scaling up. And I just stay in tune with the right things and try to stay as disciplined as possible when it comes to everything that I'm doing, because I understand that the wealth and the knowledge and the principles that I'm building are the things that will remain. And there's a certain level of wealth and success that I will never see, but my grandkids will have it. You know what I'm saying? And their grandkids will have it because the principles are there. Because that's the only thing that remains when you leave the earth. It's what you taught and how you taught. How did you teach the individuals that came after you to live? And that doesn't necessarily mean nice. You be kind, but you don't be nice and naive, right? It's not always saying things that make people happy. It's not never arguing. It's all of the things that go into living a full life and gaining some understanding that will help protect you and your spirit so that you can walk in a righteous path, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So again, surprised based on what I thought, because I again could have told you couldn't have told me that I would be doing production and have a real estate license and all that. It was either healthcare or football when I was in University of Miami, and that's all I was doing, right? And now I'm sitting here looking like, bro, it's opportunities in other spaces and this, that, and the third, and I gotta actually start filtering them out and saying, look, I can do this, I can't do that, because you can't do everything. So you got to find your sweet spot. Like you said, we're still figuring it out, but I'm not a proponent of niching your human experience down. I believe once you find a business that you want to go into and venture that you want to scale up, you corner a market, you niche that business down, you focus on a certain type of person or customer or person that has a problem. Like, you focus on a certain problem. I think that's better to focus on the problem than the person, because a lot of people got weight loss problems, girls, guys, athletes, non-athletes, right? So if you're talking about weight loss, it's a lot of people that could need that. So focus on that problem with your business and niche down to that business wise. But you as DJ, me as Malik, John as John, you don't niche down your human experience, because it dumbs down your ability to learn all the things and build the skills that will allow you to go out and live a full life. And if we're talking about money and keeping an entrepreneur, then money is a derivative or like a form of energy. You use your energy or spend your time or provide resources to someone or something to get money back in return. So money doesn't exist without the transfer of energy or doing something for someone, so to speak. And if that's the case, and we say, hey, when you get all this money, put it here, put some there, put some here, get some real estate. We do all that and diversify our money, but then we tell the individual or the person that's building the systems to dumb themselves down. How does that make sense? How can you diversify your money but not diversify yourself so that you can have multiple ways to make the money? Not that you have to do them all, you find the one that works best, but you should not reject the ability to learn how to do it in other ways, because those ways come in handy later. It just doesn't have to be your main way.
Yeah, man. Listen, no, yeah, that definitely does. It makes sense. It definitely does make sense because like I said, I even just look back, like I say, even man, the time that we play, how when we play football, when I say just go by so fast, and believe it or not, those tools that we picked up, whether that's before football, coming from our situations, neighborhoods, and even football, it prepared us for this moment. It prepared us for moments, like this. Malik, did you pledge?
Yeah. Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, the greatest fraternity in the world.
Okay, okay. I'm a Sigma man. I'm a Phi, member of Phi Beta Sigma Rho Sigma grad chapter, and that's what I want to touch on next because I know we're hopping around, but we're staying in the ramifications of entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how does that help out? How does that help a person
Oh,
um pledging, whether it's a woman pledging to a sorority, a man pledging to a fraternity? How does that help them out business wise? Because I know with us, we pitch our ideas. We have sessions where we can go ahead and pitch ideas, to the board or to our brothers.
mm-hmm.
Um, and it just provide like even just me, myself, being a member of Phi Beta Sigma, it gives me opportunities that, and no, not, I'm not being funny when I say this, a
Right.
person off the street can't get. I know the Bible tells us that your gift will make room for you,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's a gift in my opinion. Being able to go into these spaces, being a part of these different fraternities, different organizations, and I know they open doors for you, not just you know social doors, but life doors with your businesses. So how does that play a part in you being a business owner, or you starting up a business? Does it help you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, anytime you're a part of a network organization of individuals that have like minds, it just opens up the opportunity for conversations to be had and opportunities to be collaborated on. And when you talk about, any of the D9, right? The Qs, Sigmas, Kappas, Deltas, SG Rows, Iotas, whoever, when you talk about any of those individuals and any of those fraternities or sororities, you have something where people have willingly joined something bigger than themselves. So you're already leading with the number one thing you need as a business owner when you join a fraternity or sorority, and that is, you know, commitment to a cause that's going to help others and basically trying to do no wrong. Right now, granted, every fraternity sorority has, the ups and downs, the good and the bad, right? Both people and just circumstances, right? So it's not perfect. We're not going to sit here and try to play like any of these organizations are perfect. But what the intent is from the inception of any of them is, or was, is for individuals to be able to come together to push forward the ideals that were put in place, the principles that were put in place. And when you have those individuals behind you to keep you accountable for your business, right? You got to be accountable in our organization. Like, you can't just pull up with BS and think you're gonna get away with it. We're gonna tell you about it. You know what I'm saying? That's not up to par. Fix it. You know what I'm saying? And we should be able to have that conversation. And again, like I said earlier, it's not always about being kind. I mean, not kind, always about being nice. It's about being kind, but it's also about being truthful and being accountable. And I think accountability is what's lacking for a lot of individuals that want to be entrepreneurs but can't seem to get off their tails and do it. It's because you don't have a consequence. See, even though the consequence isn't quote unquote physical, because sometimes it is physical. Sometimes you got people that will literally hem you up because you BSing. And you need those individuals in your life. And you know it's out of love, right? So you ain't even fighting back, right? And these could be people that you could beat up. But if they grab you like, bro, come here, like you gonna take it because you know they mean well, right? So anytime you have individuals like that holding you accountable, then that's a consequence for you not doing what you're supposed to do. When we didn't do what we were supposed to do in football, 5 a.m., sand pit, roll, run, plate pushes across the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had that consequence. When you didn't do what you were supposed to do growing up, belt, right? And they try to take the belt away from a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? I tell you, my household, the belt gonna be had, and I dare you to call 911. But it's not out of just wanting to punish people or your kids or whoever. It's about understanding that like the mistakes you're making are putting you on a path that could ruin you, and then on top of that, it could ruin what we've built, the legacy that we're trying to build and the things that we're trying to do as a family, and then extended family, right? Extended you family, what DJ's trying to build. I'm on here now. Guess what? Now I'm accountable for things that I do because I've been on your platform with you. So now when I do something, people are going to look at you like, oh yeah, you had them on your platform, right? And then the relationship between me and you, if it's something that people don't understand, then you can call me like, hey, what's going on, bro? Like, what happened? If something were to happen, right? I'm not speaking that, but I'm saying that that's the type of relationships and stuff that you're building. So yeah, they help. They help tremendously. And some of my closest friends in these organizations and people are some of my first clients from a fitness standpoint for sure.
Okay, perfect. Hey Malik, man, Do you want to share your screen to show? Because I put the link across here, but I know it's not clickable. But I'm
Oh,
also
okay.
going to reshare it tonight. I don't know if you want to share your screen to give people, a little tutorial and just show them, how they can join your group and how they can become a part of your team, and how you can help them out, mentor them, and just show them the ropes.
Got you. Yeah, no, for sure. We'll jump into that. Let's jump into this real quick. Give me
Mm-hmm.
a sec. All right. So share, present. Okay.
Yep.
Share
Present.
screen. What do I want to share? Window, entire screen. Let's just go. We'll go school first.
Okay.
Right. So this right here is the school community. Again, free community that I have. It's Productivity Pros. This is an accelerator, and this whole community is just based on me wanting to help individuals who are just starting out. Because once we start getting into pricing for production or pricing for coaching and consulting, things can be kind of high. I'm not saying that they're as high as other people, because there are people lower than me and people higher than me, right? So I'm just scaling up the brand based on the need of the people that I've run into. And then I'm pricing fairly. But this is something that you don't have to pay for. And the amount of value in this will get you to the point where you can pay for the other things that I have no problem. Right. And
I
this
don't mean
isn't
to
a
cut
pitch.
you off.
Go ahead.
People, Malik just said you don't have to pay for it. I'm gonna say that he just said you don't have to pay for it. Even
Yeah.
this thing right here that we're doing, this Mindfulness Wednesdays, is free. You don't have to pay for it. I know some people, and again, Malik, not to cut you off, Malik didn't charge
Mhm.
me to come on here. I know some people, oh man, I'm gonna need about two, three, $400 to come on here and speak on your platform. Um, and that's just the reality of it, but that's business. And I understand that because money, it keeps things going. But you're blessed and you're fortunate enough right now to be in this space that Malik is not charging you for this. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, for sure. And just to speak back on the charging, like $400 is nothing. Like, we're getting to the point where, from a speaking engagement standpoint, like, I do things just because I want to. But when I start charging things, or when I, have sent out quotes and stuff, like, we're talking, 2 to 5. And that's, again, small, just because we're building the brand and things like that. But we're going to get to the point where we're charging 50,000 to do these things. Not necessarily a virtual chat, but like, we're talking like going and being a keynote, and those things will come to fruition, right? And again, the value that you're getting from those things are far exceeding what what you're paying. And that's kind of where I've always tried to make sure that when I create something like this, that I'm always trying to 10 or 20x people. So, if it costs $100, I wanted to make you 1,000. If it costs 1,000, I want you to make 10. If it costs 10, I want you to make 100. Right? Because again, we have to give more in value than what we're giving in price. Now, to be totally honest with you, this is probably priceless, and I'm giving it away for free because this is what actually starts the business. This is the thing that we have a classroom where I go through a 7-day uh, breakdown of how to start a business. And you go through preliminary stuff. Every video is here. You go through day 0, where I kind of give you kind of like a baseline. So preliminary stuff in day 0 are kind of like, okay, let me do that today when I just signed up for the course. I mean, for the community. And then day one is like, all right, now we jumping into clarity and things like that. So all of this is pre-recorded and there for you. And then if you have questions, we have a Q&A tab, a resource list where we'll drop resources, a community wall where we'll drop community wall stuff and just updates. And yeah, and then we'll have a calendar here for meetings. So again, school, you can get on your computer for it. You can use it on your phone. It has an app. And again, completely free accelerator for you to go from side hustle or thinking about a business to an actual business in 7 days. And to be totally honest with you, it probably takes about 3. But I know people are coming from all walks of life. So I try to give you a week to get things done, ask questions, and me help you out. So again, free, and then we'll have the VIP group, which we're vetting people for right now, because we don't want to just add anybody into the VIP group. Because here's the thing: it's not that I don't want you to come into it, right? We're going to charge $147 a month for it, right? But the thing about it is, joining a VIP group when you're not even set up from the beginning to have a structurally sound business is really just not right for me to do to you. Like, don't get me wrong, if you insist on it, cool, go swipe your card. Whatever, like that's fine. But I will want to sit down and talk with you before we join a VIP group and look at, well, do you have your website? Okay, how are you accepting invoices? Okay, what's your marketing plan? Okay, cool. So you got all those three. Now, have you started developing SOPs? Okay, cool. That's something we're gonna go over in the group if you haven't. But just wanted to see if there was kind of preliminary thought there, right? So all of these different things that go into actually running a business that nobody really tells you about are what I'm trying to get you ready for with this free accelerator. And then on top of that, again, getting priority access to myself, and then being immersed in a community of other individuals that are looking to expand, to collaborate, and build their brands. You never know if your next business partner is in this thing, right? And again, free. This could be the start of something that's going to make you millions of dollars a year. But are you going to join it? Are you going to step up and really lock in and ask questions and do the things that need to be done? And then are you going to join the pro group so that you can get access to individuals that we bring in on our side so that they can share knowledge with you and things of that nature? Like, are you willing to take those steps? All right. And we're going off action, right? This isn't, somebody just saying something. I'm on here. I'm working all day. I come in and I get on here with you. So, like, this is what it is. Now, to dig a little bit deeper, because I know the classroom is just the videos, I want to go over a little bit of what you got to look forward to as far as like the breakdown of this 7 days, because you got to watch it all. I'm not going to give you everything, but let me stop sharing that for a second. Let me go to the next thing.
And again, people, I really hope this is, like I said, this is some solid information, man. This is really some solid information, to get, like I said, to get a guy like Malik on that I trust. To be honest, I don't trust too many people. I don't. I keep my circle really small because people will burn you in a heartbeat. But Malik he's a good brother. He's a good brother, doing the right thing, coming to you, honestly. And I think this is something that we definitely need to take heed to, and let's try to apply it, to our daily life, and let's change the way we think.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a mindset shift, because your initial reaction is going to be, this feels complicated and like I can't do it. And I get that because we all been there. So I wanted to pull up in the actual app, but it was going to tell me to close Chrome and open it back up. So what we want to do is just pull up the tab. And this is how your tab will look if you don't have the Notion app or whatever, which you don't have to have it. But it's a free app. It's where we, do a lot of workspace stuff for us and our companies, and where I put a lot of my thoughts. So I love the app. I think it would be good if you're looking for something to kind of host a lot of your admin stuff. But what we do is we talk about things that might be good to do prior. We run through those different things. I got a resource table that talks about some of the things that you could get to have your business. And most people are between $100 to $300 a month that they're able to dish out to a business, and that's plenty for you to do it. And then I kind of just explain why we're doing everything we're doing in this group. And I'm not gonna give you all of this. You're gonna have to lock in for that. But I do want to just go over what these things these days are about. And the first question is, are you trying to be a business owner or entrepreneur? And the difference is, basically, a business owner is somebody who's trying to scale up something and put other people in place to run it, and they just own it. An entrepreneur is someone that wants to work in the business, or at least have some like board executive type role. But a business owner is somebody, I don't care what you do with it, as long as it doesn't burn down and we're profitable, I'm pretty good with it. So you got to figure out what your taste is, because some people don't want to work; they just want to own it and collect the money, and some people want to actually work and have involvement in their thing because they're passionate about it. And through these 7 days, we kind of craft the business based on that. So figuring out your personal why, and why you're doing it, and then going over and getting clarity using my ebook. Again, that's free in here, and I sold this ebook. So I know people probably mad when they watching this if they watched it and they bought it, and that's fine. I appreciate you supporting, and there are going to be better iterations, especially if you join the VIP group, because then you'll get ebooks for free. Um, and then optimizing your image, your domain, your email, your website. It's legitimate paperwork, EIN, and bank account. um, Getting a CRM, which is a client relationship management tool, which means that that's just where you host all of your client information. You send invoices, you might be able to send out emails. It's a couple different softwares that you can use for that. And then you got scripting and content planning, and then actually creating the content. And I want to walk you through that, because you can do all that on the phone. And once we get the VIP group rolling with the first, I want to say 10 to 15, because I want to do it after we got some people in there already. I don't want to open it up for a lot of people. So if you're interested, we can have a conversation and we can jump into that. But um, we're not going to open it up publicly until we get the right people that we want in it, and we're satisfied with where it's going based on their needs, because then we can craft something based on that really is VIP, and have the right people pulling up to the streams. And again, when we do events, because that's where we're going, when we do events, that will be great as well. um, but yeah, everything you can do on your phone, you can take yourself from side hustle to legitimate business in 7 days. And you got a free group now to join, ask questions, and really jump into it. And if you need more because you're ahead, then we'll sit down and talk about doing the VIP group option and all the benefits that come with that.
Okay, okay. No, 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 man. Listen. Um, I really hope everyone is, because I seen we had viewers all the way up to, I think, to about what, 15. And I know I was checking my phone, we had viewers on all the Instagram platforms. Man, listen, I really hope y'all enjoyed this session. I definitely did. Um Malik, man, before we close,
Hmm.
um because it went by fast, man. The time actually go by fast when you actually having a good conversation. When you having a good conversation, and anytime somebody's talking about, when you either talking about business, no order, business, sports, or I'm gonna be honest with you, business, sports, or Christ, something that's, because I don't listen to everybody. I don't. And you talk, you know what you're talking about. You got me. And I was here locked in Mount one time, so I'm like, listen. And I know I had a long day, because I know I had a long day, man. Work was crazy. Um, but if you can leave the people with two things, 2 to 3 things, because I know we touched on a lot today. I know we talked about fixed versus growth mindsets. We
Hmm.
talked about, how you did the comparison with the Sony over the Canon. You talked about investing, saving up. We talked about um, not really being too experienced to have a mentor, getting up under someone. We talked about how you invested in, yourself, invested in what you're doing, and
Yep.
how look what you're making monthly now. We talked about being in different orgs, being in fraternity sororities, how that helped you with business. We talked about, like I say, how God is going to bless you, being a keynote speaker, and how you're going to bring in that money, start charging when you become keynote speakers. And I believe that. I definitely do believe that, man. I'm a firm believer that anything um is possible, man. I went from playing 1 year of football in high school to having scholarships to go anywhere. And look at your story. Like I said, you went from being, homeless with your father to you can play the University of Miami. You have, you have degrees, and I remember that. You was actually getting ready to start. You were starting until your injury, that year. A lot of things were different because Coach Rick was coming in, but I know we know how football is, man. It's a business,
Yeah.
and sometimes I'm hard about it sometimes too with my situation, but I'm
God don't
still
make
grateful.
mistakes.
Right. Still
Yeah.
grateful and thankful. And like I said, anything is possible, man. So I definitely do believe, that's definitely going to happen because you're trying to do things the right way. You're doing things the right way. And like I said, I just love to see, especially young brothers like ourselves, um, doing what we have to do. And I want you to know, man, anytime you ever want to come back to this platform, or even next year when we get our physical building that I told you
Mhm.
we're going to get, that God is going to bless us. Anytime you want to come, you're more than welcome, brother. That's something you don't have to ask. You're more than welcome. Um, but if you can leave people with 2 to 3 things, man, what would those two to three things be about some of the things that we talked about that you brought? Because I learned some things from you that you talked about today.
Yeah, no, for sure. For one thing, I'm gonna give you, it's just when you get the physical building, you guys do the thing. We'll definitely have a conversation. I'll definitely be there. If you need me
Mhm.
there, and when we can work it out, we'll make that happen. We ain't got to worry about that. We'll make that happen. So I just want to let you know that, as your brother, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got you. I ain't worried about that. Another thing that I do want to give you, and I put it down because I actually told it to one of the guys that um I'm mentoring some.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to find it. I think it's in here. Yep, so here it is. So
Are they with you,
I'm going
Malik, right
I'm
here?
huh?
I say they with you right here, Megan.
Yeah, Megan Bradford.
Yeah.
Yep. It's my cousin.
Okay. Okay. Hello. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Got you. So the one thing that I want to share is something that came to me yesterday, and I had to share it with my young guy because when you step into this entrepreneurship space, it can feel like you can't do a lot of different things that you want to do, or that you only got so much time to do this or do that, and you feel restricted. But what I realize, and God just be giving me stuff all the time, it's not restriction, it's precision, right? And what I mean by that is when God has a plan, I'm reading it word for word how I wrote it. When God has a plan
Hmm.
for your life and you have to tell people, hey, I can't hang out, or I can only hang out for 30 minutes or an hour because I got to get back to my family, my job, my responsibilities, or my purpose. It's because in order for you to be who you are supposed to be, it takes precision. The same way being a pitcher in baseball and throwing strikes takes precision, the same way running routes as a wide receiver and making sure you cut at the correct distance takes precision. The same way when you go to Walmart, you buy some food and you're 1 cent short, but that transaction needs to go through. So you have to find that penny, takes precision. So don't look at it as not being able to do certain things, or don't look at not being able to do certain things as restriction, when you should really be viewing those things as what it takes to be precise and becoming who you are supposed to be. And that is
Hmm.
that is what I'll leave people with, because there's a million and one entrepreneur tips. There's a million and one, you know, self-help methods and productivity methods. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to your mindset and your ability to keep going. And when you feel restricted, a lot of times that mindset goes out the window and you just want to sit still and do nothing. You want to sulk. And if you're viewing it as restriction, then you will. But if you're viewing it as precision, the same way Steph Curry shoots the ball a million times to get really precise at making shots, then you will shoot one more time. You'll wake up one more day and work. You'll wake up one more day and go out. You'll call one more person. You know what I'm saying? Because it
Hmm.
takes precision. And as you shoot more and more, as you do everything little by little, you get better and better. And like I said earlier in this stream, that success you're looking for is cumulative. And the more experience and everything that you get is going to make you more and more precise. And then you can start looking at things and say, all right, cool, this quality has really increased because I've been focused on getting the reps and trying to make every rep as precise as I can. And it's not restriction, it's precision.
Hey man, I definitely do love that, man. And I want to leave you guys with one thing before we close. It was a great first episode, of Mindfulness Wednesdays. Um Proverbs 15:22, it tells us, without counsel plans fail, but with many advisors, they succeed. We need, because we were talking about mentorship, we need mentorship.
Yeah.
We need counsel. We need advisors. We need people that's going to be around us and tell us, hey, that's not a good idea. Or if you're doing that, why are you doing that? Let me challenge you because you need to grow, right? So Malik, brother, man, like I say, man, I love you. Man, anytime, man, you need me, brother, just reach out, whatever it is, shoot, whether it's sharing stuff on my IG, whatever it is, man. I'm here for you. And again, man, I definitely do want to thank you. I thank your followers, man. Your cousin, for definitely checking in with us. I know it's a good turnout because I got people texting me. Man, like, yo, you're doing this. This is really good. Um, like I said, so man, I definitely do want to say thank you again, brother. And keep putting that content out because again, that content that you're putting out, man, when I say it helped me, man, it really did. It helped me, especially last year when I was going through what I was going through with my breakup. Man, I was going through it. When I say going through it, I was going through it. But I thank God he brought me on the other side of a new season. And I'm in this new season now of life, stepping into my purpose, chasing after my purpose, not caring what anyone's saying. I'm chasing my purpose. Man, but your content, man, through the grace of God, I'm being honest with you, it helped me get through a lot of that stuff, especially in the terms of, hey, I can get back on this horse and try it again and save my money, stack my money, invest my money, get under right leadership, mentorship, and be the best version of myself that I can be.
You got it, boss man. And I appreciate you. Love you too, brother. And man, look, anytime you want me on this, let me know and we can wrap again. And I'll promise to stay a little bit more on topic because I know I can drift a little bit, but it's all out of love and all out of wanting people to understand the context behind the message and not just receive the surface level. Because if I don't touch them deeper than the surface, then I don't think people are going to move. You got to be motivated to move. So we got to deeply motivate people, and I think that's what you're doing here. So I commend you on this platform. I commend you for doing your thing, getting back on the horse, and I really appreciate you letting me know that my content is actually having some effect because sometimes, like I said, you just don't know. But I do know, like I said, being precise and putting out another piece and another piece and another piece, something is going to happen, and that's where we
It's
are.
going
So
to happen. It's going to happen. They go try to jump on a horse when the horse is galloping. But one thing it's hard to jump on a moving horse. It's
yeah,
hard to jump on a moving horse. So again, brother, love you, appreciate you, man. God bless you, man. And have a good day. This is Demetrius Jackson, man, from the Connection Ministries, doing our weekly Mindfulness Wednesday, signing out with our first guest, our great guest, Malik Mayweather, my brother, former University of Miami Cane. I definitely do appreciate you, brother.
no problem, bro. Appreciate you. All right.
All right, brother.